costs a lot of money. So we want to make it easy as we can. So, let me share over here, and I actually put this onto your agenda so I can just kind of walk you through these things. So some of this you're like, yes, I know that, but I just wrote it down anyway. So for your custom options, sales will only do the structural stuff, never the non-structural. Design will always do the non-structural. And sometimes they'll bring it up at contract, like, hey, I want the grab bar thing or whatever it is, right? But Ashley should just stay out of that. And rather than submit a custom for a grab bar like she did, it would be better to just, I don't know if you guys have like a design studio handoff sheet. That she could just write it so that when they come in to meet with Michelle, she can make sure it says, hey, sounds like you guys talked about we're doing a grab bar for you or whatever, and then let her deal with it,
Yeah.
It's just easier.
So in this case, like obviously Ashley input that one, but it shouldn't have been. It should have just been part of the handoff. And then
and we'll work with it. I just need somebody to give us the information, right? So and then these are just going forward things, right? So we can make it so like hopefully they go through super easy. Mike, I assume 100% of these are going to be brought to you for not only the viability or feasibility of it, as well as the costs. Is that correct?
I would think so.
Okay. And by the way, Mike, if it's ever a thing where you're like, I'm not sure, like holler at me, I'm happy to jump in. If it's like, hey, let's look at the plan and see like, do we even want to go down this path or do we just want to say no? Whatever it is, right? I'm happy to jump in and holler.
Okay.
Otherwise, I assume you're going to be the approver and you're probably also going to be the one to throw a price at it. If it's like, hey, I'm trying to put a number on it now, or if you at least want to put a ballpark, hey, it'll be 6,000 to 8,000, right? And then we can figure it out later. That's fine. Whatever, just something. So, when they submit the description, actually, I'll share again over here. When they submit the description, I always say it like this, like anybody should be able to pick up your description and read it and know exactly what to do without having to pick up the phone and ask you, which is hard because we think we write it well and then it's missing all kinds of information. But that's the goal at the end of the day, because this is a one of a kind, never been done before, never to be done again item. And you got to tell people what it is because otherwise they don't know. A drawing, picture is worth 1,000 words. Submit a drawing every single time. So this one.
Oh, can't see it.
Well, how do you get this to show? Oh, there it is. Okay. If you can see it, while that's a lovely picture, I don't know what wall that goes on. I don't know what height off the floor. Is it centered in the wall? Is it 2 foot 6 inches off the corner? Like,
I think it goes in the kitchen.
What's that?
I think it goes in the kitchen.
Well, I understand it's in the shower, but like the reason I bring this up, Mike, is because more than once we have ripped tile out of the shower a couple times to fix the holes.
I was being sarcastic because like it tells you nothing. I think it goes in the basement.
Look, it did say shower wall, but you don't know what bath.
We've had to take tiles off the walls to fix them over this exact thing. So I'm just trying to save you $1,000 down the road because it will happen. Have I ever mentioned why I don't like I joke all the time because it's like I've been through so many of these funny experiences, that it just, you have to laugh. So a good drawing, right? And then talk it through with the customer because, sometimes it's like we think everybody should know exactly what I mean, but we don't, right? And, on one like this, like you gotta tell me, who's putting it in. I don't know who's installing it. What is the grab bar? Is it 3 foot long, 18 inches long? I don't know what it is. What make, model, brand? Where am I buying it from? So on and so forth. Right? Because you got to remember on our end, I don't know nothing about nothing. Rian knows nothing about nothing. So we have no idea what your plans and intentions are. Okay. Always put in there who approved it, which is probably Mike most of the time. What the customer price is. Sometimes it is $0, and that's fine. I just need to know that you gave it to them for free. If you have a price that you specified, Mike, that's
No,
well, I mean, if you
Yeah.
did, you gave them a price, right? They should put that in there. Or if you want it to be a cost plus a margin thing, just put CPM and we can price it after we get a budget for it if you want. I can, and if you want to go down that path, I can price it the way I would price it, which is I price them heavy, then you gotta let us know the stage of construction, because remember, we have no idea. We just see a request come in. I have no idea what the stage of the house is. I don't know if it's in design studio or it's 100% complete or somewhere in the middle. And I'll show you that example here in a minute. And then vendor cost, right? Sometimes we know what it is if it's just standard products at standard pricing. But if it's like, hey, we have a finished spec home and we're trying to add French doors after the house is finished, either you, Mike, or Allison, or Edgar, somebody has to get a hold of all the trades and find out what we're paying them, because we got to pay the electrician to come back and fish wires to move the switches and whatever, right? And I have no idea what you want to pay him, and I don't know what the electrician, because I got to create a PO for you in the custom, right? So somebody has to go dig up all that stuff before you submit it under that circumstance, right? If we're doing something in design studio, right, it's usually easier because we know, it's probably at standard, pricing or whatever. We would need to know whatever levels and colors of the products being used, because like if you're adding some extra cabinets in the kitchen, extending the kitchen mains down another 3 feet or something, like I have no idea what level of backsplash, what level of cabinet pulls, what level of cabinets, what level of granite. I know nothing about what you're planning on putting in this house, right? And don't make me do the legwork, because you guys know. Tell me what it is so that we can set it up accordingly. And then tell me who submitted the request, because you would think it would say in Mark System who hit enter, but it doesn't. So I have no idea who submitted it, and it's often handy because if I have a question, I know who to call. And then don't submit a custom request until you've already done all the homework, researched all the stuff, so that we can have all the information, so we're not making phone calls back and forth to figure it all out as best we can, right? So here's 2 good examples of things that can come up, right? The first one is my French doors example. Like I have a finished spec house. The Smiths walk in and say, we'll buy it if you'll put French doors in the study. And it's already a finished house, right? Mike's like, well, heck yeah, I'll put the French doors in if I can get a sale, right? So now I got to pay somebody to go in there and rip the drywall jambs out, hang a door, case it, cut back the baseboards, do all the stuff, right? I got to pay an electrician to come and cut a hole in the wall, move the switch over out from behind the door, pay the drywaller to come in and patch the holes, pay the painter to come in and paint the doors, repaint the walls, pay somebody to come in and clean the place up, haul off the trash, all the stuff, right? So in that circumstance, somebody needs to go, and whether you're going to call Dopey Drywall Guy and ask him for a price, or Mike, you're just going to make up a number. I always just made up my own numbers. I'm like, I'll pay the drywall guy $400 and he'll be happy, right? Like I just usually made up numbers. Sometimes you need to call them and ask them, but when it's like something dumb like this, I'm like, well, if I give him $400, he'll come out and do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So but somebody needs to make that decision because we don't know, right? Like, and I don't want to just make stuff up. So you got to tell me what you want to pay them. Again, just make up a number. Hey, what am I going to pay the painter? What am I going to pay the trim guy for labor, right? Now, obviously, I know what your French doors cost and your casing and your hardware, right? But I would need you to tell me specifically what hardware is supposed to go in there, because I don't know without looking it up. So don't make me do the work. I mean, you guys know, right? Tell me what they are and it'll make it a lot easier, right? So put all that in there. So these are all the things you would want to put in for something like that. So this is a good example of what I'm saying, right? Give me all the information.
Joe, do you think that it's best for whether it's Ashley or Michelle to get all the info, fill out whatever little sheet they have, and then just give it to me? Because I feel like there's going to be a lot of back end stuff that they're not going to know.
That's however you want to do it. We just trained our design studio people to do this. You know, what's that?
Excel sheet we created for this in the past will work.
Yeah, I think the sheet I was holding up, right, this one is great. I would just add some more spots to it, right? If you're gonna use that to make, and if you want to enter them in, Allison, that's fine, but we made our salespeople for structurals and we made our designers for non-structurals. We made them do it, but you can do it however you want.
I just feel like it'll be incomplete. Like Michelle's not going to know how much, and she's not going to know how much to pay anybody.
Well, she's gonna have to come to Mike every single time.
That's what I mean. So like, even if she came to, like, got all the detail.
They're still gonna missing details.
Yeah. So I feel like it almost makes more sense for me to always be the one to submit it, like get all the detail from them. And then if there's pricing things that we need to figure out.
So let me explain, like when we were at Shaw Homes, right? Like they didn't necessarily have to tell me it was going to be $400 for dopey drywall, right? Because I knew well enough what I needed to pay dopey in order to patch the drywall. So, but I needed to know that we needed to patch the drywall. And obviously I can figure that out because if you tell me it's a finished house, I know I got to move the switch and I'm going to have to patch the drywall. But in your case, right, I don't know your drywall guy and I don't know what's a happy amount to pay him where he'll be fine with it. You know, where in our case, you know, we knew our trades. So we knew, hey, if I throw $400 at him, he'll be fine. So Mike, you know those, I don't. So that's where you guys just have to put it in so that we know, because we'll just create a PO for Mr. Drywall Guy for $400 because Mike said he'll be happy with that, right? And it really only goes for the silly little stuff like this, like, oh, I got to pay this guy to come back, right? If it's all stuff that's at the front end, like my second one, which is more like something they're just adding in Design Studio, right? Then in that case, it's all of the standard pricing we already have, right? I already know what we have to pay and who we have to pay to put a cabinet in and how much the cabinet is. And like, we already have all that because it's all standard pricing. But the first one is all, we're just making stuff up. Make sense?
Yeah.
So, I guess I didn't go through the second one. I'll run through that real quick. I don't know if you read ahead, but the second one is like, you know, another typical thing that could happen in Design Studio. They're like, hey, we just, you know, we entertain a lot. We want this little coffee station. Can we add, you know, 3 more feet of cabinets on the end of the kitchen mains that extends towards the nook? Sure. Right. So you do this little custom or whatever, but like, I have no idea what these people are picking in Design Studio. Only Michelle does. So I need you to tell me all the stuff because I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right. And again, approved by Mike. Mike said charge $4,800, or he might say CPM, right? Whatever. This one's in Design Studio, submitted by Michelle, you know, and here's all the things that we need to do. Right. And I know the costs on all these because it's all pre-construction. So that's kind of like 2 extreme examples, one at one end, one at the other, of like typical things you might do, right? Grab bar, the only difference in a grab bar versus like the kitchen example is now you're using a product that doesn't exist in your system, right? Which if I was you, I would avoid as much of those as possible. It's kind of like I said, no custom tile, no custom cabinets, no custom granite. Like if you don't have the SKU in your system already, I wouldn't do it. Now grab bar is fine. I'm just saying, but even still, then somebody has to tell me what to put in there if we're going to make a PO. Now, if you're just going to send Edgar to Home Depot, that's fine, right? And we don't have to put anything in there. And you could just say Edgar's going to just pick one up at Home Depot. Okay, fine, right? I won't create a PO in the custom, but I need to know that because otherwise I'm going, hey, what am I supposed to do here? Right? And remember, nobody's going to read this verbiage except us internally. And we're going to rewrite it before the customer and the public sees it. So you don't have to be, you can say whatever in it. So it's one of those, like, once you understand that I've got to think through every single solitary detail and put it all in because we don't know, right? Nobody does. You know, even if I was sitting in your office, I still don't know anything about any of this. Like I wouldn't know anything, right? So it's not even that, oh, I'm here and not there. It, you know, your purchasing person has no idea anything about anything. You got to tell them. So anyway, so that's custom options. And again, because I've just seen so many of these cost so much money and lost so much money on these things over the years, you just figure out that like you gotta just document the heck out of it and get super detailed with the customer and do a really good drawing so that they can't be like, that's not what I thought you were gonna do. Because they will.
Yeah,